Okay, so let's just acknowledge, not only was Kamala a bad senator, I mean, her beginning was rocky, to put it mildly, then she was a bad senator, she was a bad presidential candidate, so bad her poll numbers free-falled, and yet she somehow gets to be VP. This woman is going to be president of the United States. That's why it fascinates me so much. I still can't, it doesn't seem real. I can't wrap my mind around it. That woman is going to be president of the United States. So I thought it would be appropriate tonight to just go over some things again about Kamala Harris. And there's nothing real about her. I mean, I brought up a second ago how she, has these far left policies. I don't even know that she has those. There's nothing authentic about her. I don't know who she is. And that probably creeps me out more than anything else. You remember the whole Land of the Fui story? You remember how that got started? I know you love the t-shirts, the Kamala Harris Land of the Fui shirts. Don't worry, I'm going to give you a link for that a little later on in the show. I'm glad you love them. Keep buying them. Thank you. But you remember how that began, right? This was her on Jimmy Fallon. This is how that began.
Well, I was in a stroller. And so I was out there. And in fact, my mother used to have a very funny story about I was fussing and she said, Kamala, what do you want? And I said, and this is how she would say it. And she said, Kamala, what do you want? And I said, freedom.
No. Look at Jimmy, too. That's so funny. Only none of that was real. She ripped off Martin Luther King Jr. of all people. By the way, kids, for future reference, don't plagiarize anybody. Just come up with your own stuff. It's a lot better. That's one. But two, if you're going to plagiarize somebody, try to make sure it's somebody not quite as famous as Martin Luther King. Here was his story. Quote, I will never forget a moment in Birmingham when a white policeman accosted a little Negro girl, 7 or 8 years old, who was walking in a demonstration with her mother. What do you want? The policeman asked her gruffly, and the little girl looked him straight in the eye and said, feed him. Kamala just rips that off. And I don't want to laugh it all off. You're going to find me laughing at inappropriate times a lot over the next 4 years because that's how I deal with things that absolutely suck. And it's going to suck for a while. But something that's really not funny. You remember, I haven't forgotten. You remember what Antifa and Black Lives Matter did this summer, right? For a lot of us, for most of us, it was stuff we saw on the news. You tune into my show every night in horror, businesses burning, people dying. It was just terrible stuff, absolutely terrible stuff. And you and I watched all this. This woman, well, here's what she did. Take it from her. Quote, this is in the middle of them burning and looting and everything. Quote, if you're able to, chip in now to the MN Freedom Fund, that was Minnesota, to the Minnesota Freedom Fund to help post bail for those protesting on the ground in Minnesota. That's right. The woman who's going to be president of the United States of America was promoting a bail fund for people burning down Minneapolis. It seems like we're in the Twilight Zone, right? This is about the Capitol riots from same woman. Quote, we have witnessed two systems of justice, one that let extremists storm the U.S. Capitol yesterday, and another that released tear gas on peaceful protesters last summer. It's simply unacceptable. That's weird. I thought a riot was the voice of the unheard and all that nonsense they trot out every time. I guess you're allowed to riot when you're tearing through small businesses and shooting great men like David Dorn in the head. When you're stepping into the Capitol building, well, then it becomes sacred, right? Hey, thanks so much for watching The First on YouTube. If you liked what you saw, go ahead and like and subscribe. You heard me. Like it, subscribe. You'll get a lot more of it and a lot more of me.